Welcome to our channel, where history comes to life in stories that blend the past with the present, crafted to help you relax, unwind, and drift into a peaceful sleep. Today, we invite you to join John, a retired historian with a lifelong passion for uncovering the mysteries of the ancient world. As your guide, John will lead you through the fascinating history of Stonehenge, weaving together tales of its construction, the people who built it, and the timeless questions it raises. So settle in, let your mind wander, and allow John's gentle storytelling to transport you to a place where history and dreams intertwine. Welcome to the journey, and let's explore the enigma of Stonehenge together. John had been drawn to Stonehenge for as long as he could remember. A retired historian, he had spent years researching ancient civilizations, but nothing captivated him like these enigmatic stones on the Salisbury Plain. As he approached the site, the air seemed to change, and time seemed to slow, allowing him to absorb the moment's significance. The sun hung low, casting a golden hue across the rolling plains. Shadows stretched long, mimicking the ancient stones that had stood for millennia. The sky above was a blend of oranges and purples, the day giving way to twilight. The cool air carried the scent of fresh grass, damp soil, and distant rain. John stepped out of his car, feeling the atmosphere wash over him. He heard the wind rustling through the grass, whispering secrets from across time. In the distance, the silhouette of Stonehenge loomed, stark and imposing against the fading light. As he walked closer, the details of the monument emerged: weathered stones, their surfaces rough and pitted, exuding a sense of permanence. He could feel the weight of history, not as a burden, but as a comforting blanket, reminding him of his connection to the past. Though he had read countless accounts of Stonehenge, the reality of standing there was far more powerful than any words. Closing his eyes, he imagined the echoes of the past, the distant voices, the thud of tools against stone, and the murmur of ancient rituals. As the sun dipped lower, the stones seemed to transform, their shapes becoming more defined and mysterious. John felt a deep sense of peace. The monument, timeless and enduring, had witnessed countless moments, bridging the past and present. Standing there, he felt the presence of the ancients and their echoes, a silent chorus that shaped the very ground beneath him. In the fading light of day, where shadows grow long, stand the stones of old in silent, timeless song. They whisper of the past in winds that softly blow, echoes of the ancients in the earth below. In each grain of sand, in each blade of grass, lies the memory of time, of ages that pass. The stones stand tall, a testament to man, to dreams long forgotten, to the first breath of land. In the circle of stone, beneath the endless sky, the spirits of the past, they still wander by. In the silence of dusk as day turns to night, the echoes of the ancients linger in the light. As John finished reciting the poem in his mind, he felt a sense of reverence wash over him. Stonehenge was more than just a monument. It was a living connection to the past, a place where the ancients still whispered their secrets to those who would listen. He stood there for a moment longer, letting the last light of day envelop him, before turning to continue his journey through the stones, ready to uncover the mysteries that lay hidden within their ancient embrace. As the twilight deepened and the first stars began to twinkle in the sky, John felt the enigmatic pull of Stonehenge more keenly than ever. The monument before him was not merely a collection of stones. It was a riddle carved into the earth, a mystery that had baffled and intrigued generations of scholars, mystics, and travelers alike. He could feel the questions stirring in his mind, questions that had lingered in the minds of countless others who had stood where he now stood. Beneath the sky, so vast and wide, in circles of stone where secrets hide, a puzzle etched in earth and time, a riddle known to none but the divine. The winds of ages whisper low of what was built so long ago, a purpose lost, a meaning blurred, the enigma of the stones unheard. John let the words of the poem settle in his mind, delving deeper into the mysteries surrounding Stonehenge. Throughout centuries, numerous theories had sought to explain the monument's purpose, yet none had provided a definitive answer. This ambiguity gave Stonehenge its power to inspire awe and curiosity. John thought of the legends passed down through the ages, stories that added mystique to the monument. Some spoke of giants placing the stones, while others claimed Merlin, the legendary wizard, transported them with magic. Some believed Stonehenge was a portal to another world, where the veil between physical and spiritual realms was thin, allowing communication with gods or spirits of the dead. On certain nights, it was said, one could hear the ancients' voices on the wind, whispering secrets. These stories, while fascinating, were often dismissed as folklore. Yet, standing amidst the ancient stones, it was easy to see why such tales had thrived. Stonehenge exuded mystery, inviting speculation and wonder. John also considered more grounded theories proposed by archaeologists. Some believed Stonehenge was a temple for worship, dedicated to sun and moon gods. Others argued it served as a celestial observatory for tracking the heavens with precision. There were suggestions it was a burial ground, where the dead were laid to rest, guarded by towering stones. Recent discoveries of human remains lent credence to this theory, but the truth remained elusive. He was particularly drawn to the idea of Stonehenge as a healing center, where the sick came seeking cures. The blue stones, forming the inner circle, were believed to possess special properties. This theory resonated with ancient pilgrimage sites where people sought divine blessings. John realized the true purpose of Stonehenge might never be known. Perhaps that was the point. Stonehenge was a mirror reflecting the hopes and beliefs of those who came to it. Each generation found its meaning in the stones. In the fading light, Stonehenge stood as a testament to the power of mystery. John felt a profound connection to those before him, leaving with more questions than answers. The enigma of Stonehenge was not to be solved but experienced, a journey into the unknown, inviting us to wonder, dream, and embrace the mysteries beyond our grasp. As the evening deepened, the stars began to punctuate the darkening sky, their faint glow casting a subtle light over the ancient stones. John remained at the heart of Stonehenge, contemplating the mysteries that had drawn countless others to this sacred place over the millennia. The enigma of Stonehenge, with all its unanswered questions and layers of meaning, was not something to be unraveled in a single evening, or perhaps even in a lifetime. Yet within these ancient stones lay more than just mystery. There was also the story of those who had brought this monument into being, those whose dreams and determination had transformed a vision into reality. John's thoughts shifted from the mysteries of Stonehenge to its creation. To understand Stonehenge, one must step back in time to the moment when the first stones were raised, when the idea of this monumental circle was born in the minds of its builders. The story of Stonehenge is not just a tale of mystery, but also one of ambition, of human spirit and ingenuity, and of a profound connection to the earth and the heavens. The wind picked up slightly, rustling the grass around the stones, as if whispering the names of those ancient builders. John could almost hear the echoes of their voices, the sound of tools striking stone, the rhythmic chants that accompanied the labor of hands and hearts dedicated to a grand vision. The monument standing before him was a testament to their collective effort, a physical embodiment of their beliefs and dreams. In the still of the night, where dreams take flight, a vision was born in the soft twilight. In the minds of the few, the dreamers who dared, a circle of stone for the heavens prepared. With hands worn and true, they carved and they shaped. From the earth and the sky, their future they scraped. Each stone was a prayer, each placement a vow, a monument to time, both then and now. As the words of the poem floated through his thoughts, John felt a deep connection to the dreamers who had first envisioned Stonehenge. Their task had been monumental, both in scale and in significance. They had not simply moved stones, they had shaped their world, imbuing their creation with the spiritual and cultural essence of their society. The stones were more than just objects. They were symbols of a deeper understanding, a reflection of the builders' beliefs and their relationship with the universe. The story of Stonehenge began with a vision, an idea that took root in the minds of a few and grew into a project that would span generations. To understand this vision, one must look beyond the physical stones and consider the cultural and spiritual landscape of the time. John imagined the Neolithic people living in a world that was both familiar and vastly different from the one he knew. They were deeply connected to the land, to the cycles of nature, and to the rhythms of life and death. For them, the earth was alive with spirits, and the heavens were filled with gods and ancestors who watched over them. It was within this context that the idea of Stonehenge was born, a circle of stones that would serve as a bridge between the physical and the spiritual worlds. The planning of such a monument would have been an enormous undertaking, requiring not only physical labor, but also careful thought and deep spiritual insight. The builders needed to understand the land, the stars, and the seasons to ensure that their monument would align perfectly with the forces they sought to honor. Stone circles were not uncommon in Neolithic societies, but Stonehenge was to be something more, something grander, more enduring. John envisioned the initial stages of planning, where the leaders and visionaries of the community gathered to discuss the project. They would have chosen the site with great care, considering its position within the landscape, its proximity to other sacred places, and its alignment with the celestial bodies. The site of Stonehenge was not selected by chance. It was chosen because it held a special significance, a connection to the earth and the heavens that could not be found elsewhere. As John continued to reflect on the builder's vision, He could see the project taking shape in his mind. The leaders would have shared their dream with the community, inspiring others to join them in the monumental task ahead. The construction of Stonehenge was not the work of a single person or even a small group. It was a collective effort, a labor of love and devotion that involved the entire community. Every stone, every placement, every alignment was a testament to the unity and shared purpose of the people who built it. The landscape around Stonehenge would have been alive with activity as the builders began their work. They would have cleared the land, marked out the positions of the stones, and started the arduous process of quarrying, transporting, and shaping the massive sarsens and bluestones that would form the monument. The work was difficult, the challenges immense, yet the builders persisted, driven by the vision that had inspired them. The foundations of Stonehenge were not just physical, they were spiritual and cultural as well. The builders believed that by creating this monument, they were forging a connection with the divine, a way to ensure the prosperity and protection of their people for generations to come. Stonehenge was not just a structure. It was a symbol of their beliefs, their knowledge, and their place in the universe. John felt a deep sense of admiration for those ancient builders. They had undertaken a task that seemed impossible, yet they had succeeded in creating something timeless, something that would continue to inspire and awe those who came after them. Stonehenge was a testament to the power of vision, to the strength of the human spirit, and to the enduring connection between humanity and the cosmos. As John stood among the stones, he let his thoughts drift back to the moment when the first massive sarsen stone was placed at Stonehenge. The site, which had begun as an idea, a vision shared by a community, was now transforming into a reality. The monument was beginning to take shape, each stone meticulously positioned with purpose and intent. It was not merely a matter of brute strength or engineering. There was a deep spiritual and cultural significance to every choice made by the builders. The sarsens, massive, imposing stones, were the first to be raised. Quarried from the Marlborough Downs, these stones were transported over 20 miles, a feat that seemed nearly impossible even by today's standards. The methods used to move these stones have long been debated, but whether by sledges, rollers, or a combination of both, the journey of these stones to their final resting place at Stonehenge was nothing short of miraculous. John imagined the scene. Teams of workers, straining with ropes and levers, inching the massive stones closer to their destination. There would have been moments of exhaustion, of frustration, when the task seemed insurmountable. But these were people driven by something greater than the physical task before them. Each stone was more than just a block of sandstone. It was a piece of a grander puzzle, a key to unlocking the spiritual power of the land. The first stone to be erected was a momentous occasion. The builders would have gathered around, watching with bated breath as the stone was maneuvered into its upright position. There would have been prayers, offerings, and perhaps even a moment of silence as the stone was finally placed. The monument was beginning to rise from the earth, a testament to the strength and perseverance of the people who had brought it into being. But it wasn't just the sarsens that held importance. John knew that the smaller, darker bluestones, which had been transported all the way from the Preseli Hills in Wales, also played a critical role in the monument's construction. These stones were not only significant for their distant origin, but also for the mystical properties that the builders believed they possessed. Legend had it that the blue stones were imbued with special powers, perhaps even healing abilities. The stones were said to vibrate with a unique energy, one that could cure ailments and protect those who stood within their circle. This belief was so strong that the builders went to extraordinary lengths to incorporate the blue stones into Stonehenge design, positioning them carefully within the larger Sarsen structures. John could picture this scene as the blue stones arrived at the site. After their long and arduous journey, the builders would have approached them with reverence, understanding the significance of these stones in the overall structure of the monument. The decision of where to place each blue stone would not have been taken lightly. It was a matter of spiritual importance, one that required careful thought and consideration. As the monument took shape, the placement of each stone was guided by more than just architectural plans. There were rituals to perform, offerings to make, and prayers to be said. The builders believed that the stones were living entities connected to the spirits of the land and the heavens. Each stone had its own role to play in the grand design, and it was the builders' task to ensure that they fulfilled their purpose. John envisioned the rituals that accompanied the construction process. Before a stone was set in place, the builders might have gathered around it, offering prayers and sacrifices to the gods. They would have sung chants, calling upon the spirits to bless their work and to protect the monument. These rituals were not just formalities. They were integral to the construction process, imbuing each stone with the power and significance that would allow Stonehenge to fulfill its sacred purpose. From hills afar, we bring the stone, a gift from earth to stand alone, yet not alone, but part of all, a sacred circle where spirits call. Each stone we place with careful hand, a force of life from distant land. In its heart, the power lies, to heal the weak, to touch the skies. Oh, stones of blue with secrets deep, your watchful gaze our souls shall keep. In this circle, where the winds do sing, we honor you as we raise and bring. As John mentally recited the lines of the poem, he could feel the weight of the builders' beliefs and the significance they placed on their work. The blue stones were more than just structural elements. They were seen as conduits of spiritual energy, as links between the physical world and the divine. The monument continued to grow, each stone finding its place within the circle. The Sarsen stones formed the outer ring and the iconic trilithons that stood tall at the heart of the site. Within this ring, the blue stones were carefully arranged in an inner circle, adding another layer of complexity to the monument. John thought about the builders who had dedicated their lives to this project. They had no written language, no advanced technology, yet they had created something that would endure for thousands of years. Their knowledge of the land, the stones, and the heavens had guided their hands, allowing them to craft a monument that was as much a work of art as it was a spiritual center. The monument was now beginning to take shape, not just as a physical structure, but as a symbol of the people who had built it. It was a testament to their beliefs, their knowledge, and their connection to the world around them. Each stone was a piece of a larger story, one that would continue to unfold as the monument grew. As John stood among the stones, he felt a deep sense of reverence for those ancient builders. They had faced incredible challenges, yet they had persevered, driven by a vision that transcended the physical world. Stonehenge was more than just a collection of stones. It was a monument to the human spirit, a symbol of the power of belief, and a bridge between the past and the future. With that realization, John knew that the story of Stonehenge was far from over. There were still many secrets to uncover, many layers of meaning to explore. The monument was still alive, still resonating with the energy of those who had built it. And as he continued his journey, John was eager to delve deeper into the mysteries that lay hidden within these ancient stones. As John walked among the towering stones of Stonehenge, he couldn't help but think of the countless hands that had shaped and raised them. The monument, as impressive as it was, had not come into being without immense effort and sacrifice. For every stone that stood tall, there had been moments of doubt, exhaustion, and near defeat. John found himself reflecting on the personal stories of those ancient builders, their triumphs, their trials, and the sheer willpower that had seen them through. The construction of Stonehenge was not just a single event, but a process that spanned generations. It was a project that demanded not only physical strength, but also a deep commitment to the vision that had been passed down from one generation to the next. Among the many stories that John had uncovered in his research, one in particular stood out, a tale of a family that had dedicated their lives to the monument, embodying the spirit of perseverance that Stonehenge represented. This family, like many others in their community, had been involved in the project from the very beginning. The father, a skilled stoneworker, had been one of the first to be chosen to work on the site. He had a deep understanding of the stones, knowing how to shape and place them with precision. His wife and children supported him, taking on various roles to ensure that the work continued without interruption. But the work was grueling. Days were long, and the physical demands were relentless. The father would return home each evening, his body aching from the day's labor, yet his spirit remained strong. He knew that what they were building was more than just a circle of stones. It was a legacy, a testament to their connection to the land and the heavens. This belief sustained him, even on the most challenging days. However, as the years went on, the toll of the work became more evident. The father, once strong and vigorous, began to feel the weight of the years on his shoulders. His hands, once steady, now shook with the strain of lifting and shaping the heavy stones. Yet he refused to give up. The vision of Stonehenge, of the completed monument standing proud against the sky, kept him going. There were moments of crisis, times when it seemed that the project might fail. One particularly difficult period came during the construction of the central trilithons. These massive structures required an extraordinary amount of effort to erect, and despite all their experience and knowledge, the builders struggled to lift the stones into place. John imagined the scene. The father and his fellow workers standing before the enormous stone, their faces etched with determination and exhaustion. They had tried everything: ramps, levers, ropes, but the stone refused to budge. The workers began to doubt whether it could be done, whether they could achieve the vision that had driven them for so long. It was during one of these moments of doubt that the father made a decision that would change the course of the project. He called for his family to join him at the site, believing that their presence, their unity, would give him the strength he needed to continue. His wife, children, and even his elderly parents came to the site, forming a circle around the stone. Together, they prayed, offering their hopes and fears to the gods, asking for the strength to complete the task. With renewed determination, the father returned to the work, his family by his side. They tried again, and this time, something shifted. The stone, which had seemed immovable, began to rise. Inch by inch, they lifted it, the father's hands steadying the ropes, his family's voices encouraging him with every step. It was as if the stone itself had responded to their collective will, finally yielding to their efforts. With hands that bleed, with backs that ache, we carry forth what others forsake. The stones we lift, the burdens we bear. In sweat and toil, we find our prayer. Through doubt and fear, through night and day, we push ahead, we find our way. For in these stones, our dreams reside. In every tear, in every stride. Oh, trials long and struggles deep. Our promise made, our vows we keep. For what we build will stand the test of time, of fate, of all the rest. John could almost hear the words echoing through the centuries. The poem a reflection of the emotional and physical struggles that the builders had endured. It was a testament to their resilience, to their refusal to give up, even when the odds were against them. The stone was finally placed, standing tall and proud in the center of the monument. The father and his family looked upon it with a mixture of pride and relief, knowing that they had overcome what had seemed impossible. The monument, though still incomplete, was taking shape, each stone a symbol of their determination and unity. The father continued to work on Stonehenge for the rest of his life, passing on his knowledge and skills to his children, who would one day take up the mantle. The family became known throughout the community for their dedication to the monument. Their story passed down through generations as a symbol of the power of belief and the strength of the human spirit. John stood silently among the stones, his thoughts returning to the present. He felt a deep connection to the people who had built this monument, to the family that had given everything to ensure its completion. Stonehenge was more than just a physical structure. It was a testament to the resilience and determination of those who had come before, a symbol of the trials they had endured and the triumphs they had achieved. As John prepared to move on, he knew that the story of Stonehenge was not just one of ancient stones and forgotten rituals. It was a story of people, of their dreams, their struggles, and their unyielding spirit. And it was a story that would continue to inspire and resonate with all who came to this sacred place. As John moved deeper into the heart of Stonehenge, the air around him seemed to hum with energy, as if the very stones were alive with the knowledge of the ages. John stood in the center of the stone circle, gazing up at the sky, now painted with the deep purples and oranges of twilight. He imagined what it must have been like for the ancient builders, standing in this very spot thousands of years ago, their eyes fixed on the heavens. The sky, vast and endless, held the answers to their most profound questions. It was here, beneath this very sky, that the builders had crafted not just a monument, but a cosmic calendar, a way to mark the passage of time, to connect the rhythms of the earth with those of the universe. The builders of Stonehenge were not only architects of stone, but also architects of time. John murmured to himself, feeling the weight of this realization. They were guided by the stars, the sun, and the moon, each stone placed with a purpose, each alignment carefully calculated. He could picture it now, the ancient builders, gathering night after night, observing the movements of the stars, charting the course of the sun across the sky. They would have passed down their knowledge through generations, each observation a step closer to the creation of this celestial monument. Beneath the endless vault of night, we trace the paths of heavenly light. Stars that twinkle, moons that rise, mark the passage of time through ancient eyes. With stones we capture, with hands we mold, the dance of the sky, the stories untold. In each alignment, a purpose found, to bind our lives to the celestial sound. John let the words of the poem settle over him, feeling the connection between the heavens and the earth grow stronger. He imagined the builders, standing where he now stood, reciting similar words as they worked. Each stone a piece of the puzzle, each alignment a way to bring order to the chaos of the cosmos. He turned his gaze toward the heel stone, the solitary stone that stood just outside the main circle. This stone, John thought, was no ordinary rock. It was the marker of the sun's path, the point where the longest day of the year began. On the summer solstice, the sun would rise directly over the heel stone, its rays piercing through the heart of Stonehenge, illuminating the inner circle. This was no accident. It was a deliberate alignment, a way to mark the turning of the year, the balance between light and dark. John walked slowly toward the stone, his mind racing with thoughts of how the builders might have discovered these alignments. Was it through trial and error? Did they spend years observing the sun's path, recording its movements until they were certain of its course? Or was this knowledge passed down through the ages, a sacred tradition that guided their hands as they placed each stone? The heel stone's role in this celestial dance was not unique. John knew that the entire monument was filled with such alignments, each one telling a different part of the story. The Sarsens, with their massive trilithons, formed a horseshoe shape that faced the northeast, toward the rising sun on the summer solstice. This alignment was not just functional, it was symbolic, a representation of the builder's understanding of the cycles of life and death, light and dark. As John continued his exploration, he thought about the builder's methods. How did they ensure such precision? How did they align the stones so perfectly with the movements of the heavens? The answer, John realized, lay in their deep connection to the natural world. These were people who lived in harmony with the land, who understood the cycles of the seasons and the rhythms of the earth. They did not separate the physical from the spiritual. To them, the stones were as much a part of the cosmos as the stars themselves. He imagined the builders using simple tools, wooden stakes, strings, and sightlines, to chart the course of the sun and the stars. They would have observed the sun's rise and fall, noting its position at different times of the year, marking the points where it aligned with the stones. This knowledge, combined with their reverence for the natural world, allowed them to create a monument that was as much a calendar as it was a place of worship. The thought of this filled John with awe. Stonehenge was a testament to the builders' ingenuity, their ability to bridge the gap between the earth and the heavens. It was a reminder that even in the distant past, people sought to understand their place in the universe, to connect their lives with the greater rhythms of the cosmos. As the night sky deepened, John imagined the ancient builders gathered here, their eyes fixed on the stars. They would have seen the same constellations that he saw now, the same patterns of light and shadow. The sky was a constant, unchanging, a guide that had led them to create something that would endure for millennia. "The skies dance," John whispered, the words of the poem coming back to him. "It's a dance that we are all a part of, a rhythm that guides us through time." He could see the builders' vision so clearly now, their desire to capture the movements of the heavens in stone, to create a place where the earth and the sky could meet. Stonehenge was more than just a monument. It was a map of the cosmos, a way to connect the people who built it with the universe that surrounded them. As John stood in the center of the stone circle, he felt a deep sense of connection to those ancient builders. They had looked to the sky for guidance, just as he did now, and had created something that would stand the test of time. Stonehenge was their legacy, a reminder of the human desire to understand the world, to find our place within it. With a final glance at the night sky, John turned to continue his exploration, eager to uncover more of the secrets that lay within these ancient stones. He knew that the answers he sought were not just in the stones themselves, but in the connection they forged between the earth and the heavens, between the people who built them and the cosmos that guided their hands. As the stars twinkled in the night sky, John couldn't help but feel a profound connection to the ancient rituals that had once been performed at Stonehenge. The stones, now bathed in moonlight, seemed to hum with a silent energy, as if they still remembered the chants, the dances, and the offerings that had taken place within their circle. John's mind drifted back to a time when the monument was not just a place of observation, but a sacred site where the people gathered to honor the gods, the earth, and the cosmos. John imagined the scene as it might have been thousands of years ago, the air thick with anticipation as the people gathered around the stones for a ritual. The builders of Stonehenge had not only aligned the monument with the heavens, they had also imbued it with spiritual significance, creating a space where the physical and the spiritual worlds could meet. In the circle where shadows dance, we gather in light, in sacred trance. With fire and stone, we mark the night, a bond of earth, a circle of light. The sun's first rays, the moon's soft glow, guide our steps where spirits flow. In harmony, we find our place, in the circle of light, in the God's embrace. John recited the poem softly to himself, imagining how it might have been used to set the tone for the rituals that once took place here. He could see it now, a gathering of people, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of torches, their hearts united by a shared sense of purpose and reverence. As the night deepened, John envisioned the different types of rituals that might have been performed at Stonehenge, each one tailored to the needs and beliefs of the community. Community rituals. John imagined a large group of people, villagers from surrounding areas, coming together at Stonehenge to celebrate the changing of the seasons. These were the rituals of common folk, farmers, hunters, and gatherers, who depended on the earth's cycles for survival. They gathered during the solstices, marking the longest and shortest days of the year with songs, dances, and offerings to the gods. He saw them standing in a circle around a central fire, chanting ancient hymns, their voices rising in unison. The fire crackled, casting flickering shadows across the stones in a mesmerizing dance of light and dark. A respected elder or shaman would lead the ceremony, invoking the gods of the sun and the earth, asking for blessings on crops and herds, and giving thanks for the harvest. It was a time of renewal, honoring the cycles of life and death, and ensuring the community's prosperity. John could almost hear the rhythmic beating of drums, the melodies of flutes, and the rustling feet dancing around the fire. The air was filled with the scent of burning herbs and the warmth of shared humanity, rituals that bound the community together, reinforcing their connection to the land and each other. Rituals of the elite. Not all rituals were for everyone. John envisioned exclusive ceremonies for the elite or priestly classes, shrouded in mystery and performed in the dead of night or at dawn, when the veil between realms was thinnest. Participants would enter the stone circle in silence, the atmosphere heavy with secrecy, knowing that what was about to take place was not for common eyes. John saw a small group, the chieftain, the high priest, and a few chosen individuals, gathered around the inner stones, seeking guidance from the gods, ensuring victory in battle, or communing with ancestors. The high priest, draped in ceremonial robes, would light a sacred fire, its flames bridging the gap between earth and the divine. Sacrifices would be offered, and ancient incantations recited, with the stones vibrating with ritual energy. As the sun or moon aligned with the stones, the participants would feel a deep connection to the cosmos. Solstice celebrations. John realized the solstice celebrations were among the most significant rituals at Stonehenge. The winter and summer solstices marked turning points when the balance of light and dark shifted. He pictured people gathering in the pre-dawn darkness of the winter solstice, breath visible in the cold air, waiting for the first rays of the sun to break over the horizon, signaling the return of longer days. In summer, the atmosphere was joyful. People gathered to witness the sun at its peak, celebrating abundance with music, dancing, and offerings, thanking the earth for its bounty, and seeking continued blessings. In the shadow of the stones, where light and dark entwine, we dance the ancient dance, where earth and sky align. In fire and stone, in sacred rites, we honor the sun, the stars, the nights. The circle holds our hopes, our fears, our dreams. In the light of the fire, our souls redeemed. In this place where earth meets sky, we find our place where spirits fly. As the night deepened, a sense of mystery hung over Stonehenge, as if the monument itself held countless secrets just waiting to be unraveled. John stood in the quiet, contemplating the ancient stones that had witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations, that had stood as silent sentinels through the passage of time. The questions that had been raised over centuries echoed in his mind, pulling him into the depths of the monument's enigma. John began to reflect on the many theories that scholars, historians, and archaeologists had proposed over the years to explain the purpose of Stonehenge. Each theory seemed to offer a piece of the puzzle, yet none could fully capture the monument's true essence. The wind whispered through the stones, and John imagined the voices of those who had come before him, each one trying to solve the mystery of Stonehenge. In the circle of stone, where shadows play, lies a mystery untouched by the light of day, a question asked by countless minds, yet the answer, elusive, no one finds. Was it built to honor the gods above, or to track the stars and the sun's pure love? A place of power, a sacred ground, or a burial site where the lost are found? The truth is hidden, the stones stand tall, a monument to the mysteries that baffle us all. As the poem echoed in his thoughts, John delved into the various theories that had been proposed over the years, each one offering a glimpse into the possible purpose of Stonehenge. One of the most enduring theories is that Stonehenge was a place of worship and ritual, where Neolithic people gathered to honor their gods and connect with the divine. John recalled the powerful rituals he had imagined earlier. The alignment of the stones with the solstices, the nearby burial mounds, and the discovery of altars all pointed to this possibility. The monument could have served as a temple where earth met sky, a sacred space for ceremonies marking significant moments in life and nature. Another theory suggests that Stonehenge functioned as an ancient astronomical observatory, tracking the movements of the sun, moon, and stars. John thought about the precision with which the stones were aligned with celestial events like the solstices. The monument might have been used as a calendar, helping people mark time and plan agricultural activities according to the changing seasons. This theory, rooted in science, also carried a mystical aspect. To the ancient people, the heavens were the domain of the gods, and observing the stars was a way to commune with the divine. John also considered the theory that Stonehenge was a place of healing, where people came from afar seeking cures. The discovery of the bluestones, believed to have healing properties, supported this idea. The presence of burials and bones showing signs of illness suggested Stonehenge might have been an ancient pilgrimage site, a place where the stones were believed to restore health and vitality, combining both physical and spiritual healing. Another intriguing theory is that Stonehenge served as a burial site, where the dead were laid to rest in the presence of the gods. John thought of the nearby burial mounds, cremated remains, and the alignment of the stones with the sun. This theory suggested that Stonehenge was a necropolis, where ancestors were honored, reflecting a belief in the power of the dead to influence the living. John also considered that Stonehenge could symbolize social and political power, a monument showcasing the authority of the elite who commissioned it. The scale of the project, the effort needed to transport and erect the stones, and the organization required pointed to its role as more than a religious site. It might have been a statement of power, asserting control over the land and its people. John realized that every generation had its interpretation of Stonehenge, shaped by its knowledge and cultural context. Early antiquarians saw it as a druidic temple, while modern archaeologists, using advanced technology, uncovered new evidence challenging those ideas. Reflecting on these theories, John understood that Stonehenge's true purpose might never be fully known. It could have been a place of worship, an observatory, a healing center, a burial ground, and a symbol of power, each layer adding to its mystery. As John moved on, he felt respect for the scholars who sought to understand Stonehenge and a connection to the people who built it. Stonehenge was their legacy, a testament to their vision and belief in something beyond themselves. With that thought in mind, John turned his attention to the next chapter of his journey, eager to delve deeper into the mysteries and theories that had made Stonehenge one of the most fascinating and enigmatic monuments in the world. As John continued his exploration, his thoughts turned to the legacy left by the builders of Stonehenge. The monument had stood for thousands of years, weathering the ravages of time, yet its presence remained as powerful as ever. It was not just a structure of stone, it was a testament to the enduring human spirit, a symbol of our desire to connect with the world around us and leave a mark that would last long after we were gone. Through the hands of time, in earth and sky, these stones endure as the years go by. A monument built with sweat and bone. A legacy carved in ancient stone. The past is silent, yet it speaks. In the cracks, the lines, the weathered peaks. A tale of those who lived and died. Their dreams, their fears, they cannot hide. In every stone, a story told. Of human hearts, of spirits bold. A legacy it will not fade. In stone, our mark forever made. John reflected on how Stonehenge had been perceived throughout history. From its earliest mentions in medieval chronicles to the detailed studies of the Enlightenment, Stonehenge had captivated every generation that encountered it. During the Renaissance, scholars began to see Stonehenge as a key to understanding the origins of civilization. Antiquarians like John Aubrey and William Stukeley, among the first to study it in detail, viewed it through a Druidic lens, believing it to be a temple of ancient British priests. Their writings and sketches preserved the monument's image for future generations, even if their interpretations were later challenged. Over the centuries, Stonehenge continued to inspire artists, writers, and filmmakers who saw in its stones a symbol of mystery, power, and the passage of time. From romantic poets who evoked its grandeur to contemporary artists who explored themes of nature and eternity, Stonehenge became a cultural icon. John thought of Stonehenge's many depictions in modern media. It had appeared in everything from classic literature to science fiction films, portrayed as a place of ancient power or a gateway between worlds. Its image had been reproduced in paintings, photographs, and digital art, each adding another layer to its legacy. One striking example was Stonehenge in literature. Writers like Thomas Hardy and Virginia Woolf used it as a symbol of the past's grip on the present. In Hardy's Tess of the D'Urbervilles, the heroine finds herself at Stonehenge in a moment of profound realization, as if the stones were speaking of fate and inevitability. Stonehenge had also greatly impacted archaeology and history. The site had been the subject of countless excavations, studies, and debates, each adding to our understanding of the past. John thought of the discoveries, the burial mounds, tools, and artifacts that helped piece together its story. Archaeologists used Stonehenge as a case study for new techniques, from radiocarbon dating to ground-penetrating radar. The site inspired theories about Neolithic life, social structures, and religious practices, reflecting broader human development patterns. John realized that Stonehenge influenced not just history, but how we think about history. It reminded us that history is a living, breathing story, and challenged us to consider our own place within it. In modern times, Stonehenge symbolized environmental and cultural preservation, reminding us of the importance of protecting our heritage. Conservation efforts have been ongoing for decades, ensuring that Stonehenge remained a testament to the ingenuity of its builders. John also saw Stonehenge as a focal point for contemporary spirituality. Each year, thousands gathered to celebrate the solstices, to connect with the earth and cosmos, just as the ancient builders had intended. For many, it was a sacred place in a world often disconnected from its roots. As John looked at the towering stones, he felt a deep reverence for the builders who had left behind this incredible legacy. They created something that would endure, inspiring awe and wonder for generations. Stonehenge was more than just stones. It was a symbol of human resilience, creativity, and the quest for knowledge, reminding us that we are all part of something greater, connected across time in ways we may never fully understand. In the circle of stone, where the past meets the sky, we leave our mark as the years go by, a monument to dreams, to hopes, to fears, a legacy carved through the sands of years. The stones stand tall as the ages turn, a testament to those who dared to learn. In their silent watch, they guard our tale, a story of life, of love, of human frail. So as we walk in their shadowed light, we remember the builders, their endless fight. In stone, their spirit forever stays, guiding us through our own days. With these thoughts in mind, John felt a renewed sense of purpose. Stonehenge was not just a relic of the past. It was a living legacy, a reminder of the enduring power of the human spirit. As he prepared to delve deeper into the mysteries that surrounded the monument, he knew that he was walking in the footsteps of those who had come before him, continuing the journey that had begun thousands of years ago. As John stood in the shadow of Stonehenge, he felt the weight of the centuries pressing down on him. The stones had stood here, unmoving, while the world around them changed beyond recognition. Yet, for all the years that had passed, much of Stonehenge's story remained untold, buried beneath the earth, waiting to be unearthed by those curious and brave enough to dig into the past. John's thoughts turned to the first people who had tried to unravel the mysteries of Stonehenge, the early antiquarians and archaeologists who had been drawn to this ancient site with a burning desire to uncover its secrets. These men and women, working with the most rudimentary of tools, had embarked on a journey of discovery that would forever change our understanding of history. With shovel and pen, they sought to find the secrets long buried, lost to time. Through soil and stone, they dug with care, in search of answers hidden there. The earth gave way to hands that yearned for stories of old to be discerned. In every shard, in every bone, they glimpsed the past in dust and stone. The first recorded excavation at Stonehenge took place in the early 17th century, led by a man named John Aubrey. Aubrey was not an archaeologist in the modern sense, but an antiquarian, a scholar of ancient artifacts and monuments, driven by a passionate curiosity about the past. He had a keen eye for detail and an insatiable hunger for knowledge, traits that would serve him well as he set about uncovering the mysteries of Stonehenge. John imagined Aubrey standing on this very spot, gazing up at the towering stones with a mix of wonder and determination. Armed with little more than a sketchbook and a few basic tools, Aubrey began to document the site, mapping out the stones and noting their positions with meticulous care. His work would later serve as the foundation for much of what we know about Stonehenge today. As John thought about those early days of exploration, he couldn't help but admire the dedication and perseverance of these early diggers. They faced many challenges: limited technology, harsh weather conditions, and often the skepticism of their peers. Yet they pressed on, driven by a deep-seated belief that the past held answers to the mysteries of the present. The work of Aubrey and others like him paved the way for future generations of archaeologists who would come to Stonehenge armed with more advanced tools and techniques. But those early diggers laid the groundwork, establishing the first tentative steps toward understanding this ancient monument. John could almost hear the clinking of shovels and the murmur of excited voices as these pioneers uncovered fragments of the past, each discovery bringing them closer to the truth. He imagined the thrill they must have felt as they unearthed artifacts, each one a clue in the vast puzzle of Stonehenge history. Among the records left behind by these early diggers were personal letters and journals, in which they documented not only their findings, but also their thoughts and feelings about the work they were doing. These writings offer a glimpse into the minds of the first discoverers, revealing their passion, their frustrations, and their moments of triumph. In one such letter, John Aubrey wrote to a fellow antiquarian, expressing his excitement over a new discovery, a fragment of an ancient tool buried deep beneath the earth. "I cannot describe the thrill that ran through me as I held this object in my hand," he wrote. "To think that it had lain here, untouched, for so many centuries, and that I was the first to see it. There are no words." John felt a kinship with these early diggers, sharing in their sense of wonder and excitement. He knew that their work had been the first step in a long journey of discovery, one that he was now a part of. With these thoughts in mind, John prepared to delve deeper into the archaeological adventures that had shaped our understanding of Stonehenge, eager to learn more about the people who had dedicated their lives to unearthing the past. As the years passed and technology advanced, so too did the methods used to study Stonehenge. What had once been the realm of antiquarians with little more than shovels and curiosity had become a field of scientific inquiry, where each discovery was a piece of a much larger puzzle. John stood at the site, thinking about the generations of archaeologists who had followed in the footsteps of John Aubrey and his contemporaries. These modern explorers came armed with tools that their predecessors could never have imagined: ground-penetrating radar, 3D modeling, and precise dating techniques. These advancements had revolutionized the study of Stonehenge, allowing researchers to peer beneath the surface of the earth and uncover secrets that had lain hidden for millennia. In the earth, the past lies still. Beneath the stones, beneath the hill, with careful hand and watchful eye, we seek the truths that buried lie. Each layer speaks of days long gone, of lives once lived, of battles won. Through tools and time, we bring to light the echoes of the endless night. One of the most significant breakthroughs in modern archaeology came with the discovery of the vast landscape surrounding Stonehenge. For centuries, the monument had been seen as an isolated structure, standing alone on the Salisbury Plain. But as archaeologists began to explore the area using new technologies, a different picture began to emerge. John thought about the work done in the early 21st century, when teams of archaeologists began to map the landscape around Stonehenge in unprecedented detail. They uncovered evidence of a complex network of structures, henges, burial mounds, and even traces of ancient settlements, stretching for miles in every direction. It became clear that Stonehenge was not an isolated monument, but the center of a much larger and more intricate complex, one that had been used and revered for thousands of years. Among the most fascinating discoveries were the burial sites found in the vicinity of Stonehenge. These sites, some of which contained the remains of people who had been buried with great care and respect, suggested that the area had been a place of significant cultural and spiritual importance. John imagined the archaeologists unearthing these graves, carefully brushing away the soil to reveal the bones and artifacts beneath. One particularly groundbreaking find was the so-called Amesbury Archer, a burial discovered just a few miles from Stonehenge. The grave, dated to around 2300 BCE, contained the remains of a man buried with an impressive array of artifacts, including arrowheads, tools, and gold ornaments. The presence of these items suggested that the man had been a person of high status, perhaps even a leader or a priest. The discovery of the Amesbury Archer provided valuable insight into the people who had lived and worshipped near Stonehenge, offering a glimpse into their social structure and beliefs. As John reflected on these discoveries, he thought about how each find had added another layer to the story of Stonehenge. The monument was no longer just a collection of stones, but a window into the lives of the people who had built it, used it, and revered it. The more archaeologists uncovered, the clearer it became that Stonehenge was a focal point for a complex and sophisticated society, one that had left its mark on the landscape in ways that were only now being fully understood. In addition to the Amesbury Archer, other significant discoveries had changed our understanding of Stonehenge. In the late 20th century, archaeologists began to uncover the remains of wooden structures near the monument, leading to the theory that Stonehenge was part of a broader ritual landscape that included both stone and timber circles. These wooden structures, now long gone, had likely been used in ceremonies and rituals that complemented those held at Stonehenge itself. More recent studies had also revealed the presence of a large pit near Stonehenge, which some researchers believe was used as a sort of astronomical observatory. This pit, carefully aligned with the movements of the sun and stars, suggested that the builders of Stonehenge had a deep understanding of the heavens and had used their knowledge to create a monument that served both practical and spiritual purposes. John considered how these discoveries, made possible by modern technology, had expanded our understanding of Stonehenge in ways that would have been unimaginable to earlier generations of archaeologists. The use of ground-penetrating radar, for example, had allowed researchers to map the underground features of the site without disturbing the earth, revealing hidden structures and features that had been invisible for centuries. As John thought about these advancements, he couldn't help but feel a sense of awe at the ingenuity and perseverance of both the ancient builders and the modern archaeologists who had worked to uncover their secrets. The story of Stonehenge was far from complete, but with each new discovery, the picture grew clearer, revealing a monument that was as complex and multifaceted as the society that had created it. John looked out over the landscape, imagining the countless layers of history that lay beneath the surface. Each one was a testament to the enduring legacy of Stonehenge, a reminder that the past was never truly gone. It was simply waiting to be uncovered, one discovery at a time. Despite all our advanced tools and techniques, many mysteries of Stonehenge remain unsolved. John stood among the stones, contemplating the questions that have puzzled historians and archaeologists for generations. Even with extensive research, excavations, and countless theories, aspects of Stonehenge's purpose and construction remain elusive. One of the greatest mysteries is its exact purpose. Was Stonehenge primarily a religious site where ancient people worshipped their gods and marked seasonal changes? Or was it an astronomical observatory, a giant calendar tracking celestial movements? Perhaps it served both purposes, or maybe something entirely different that we have yet to understand. John reflected on the ongoing debates among archaeologists. Every new discovery brings a new theory, adding a piece to the puzzle or complicating the picture. Some believe Stonehenge was a place of healing, where people sought cures from the stone's supposed magical properties, while others suggest it was a burial ground for the elite, where society's most important members were laid to rest. In circles they stand, through ages untold, silent and still, with secrets they hold. The wind whispers by, but they do not speak. Their stories are hidden, the answers we seek. What did they see in the dawn of their time? What purpose they served? What reason? What rhyme? The stones hold their silence through night and through day, guardians of mysteries that time cannot sway. Despite modern archaeology's best efforts, Stonehenge continues to guard its secrets. The methods used to transport the massive stones, the techniques employed to raise them, and the monument's alignment with celestial events remain subjects of ongoing research and debate. John knew that even with sophisticated technology, there were limits to what we could uncover. He thought about the latest research efforts, projects using ground-penetrating radar, DNA analysis, and virtual reality reconstructions to explore Stonehenge mysteries. Each study brings new insights, but also raises new questions, challenging existing theories. The enduring mystery of Stonehenge is part of its allure. It invites endless curiosity and speculation. As John stood among the silent stones, he felt a connection to the generations who had wondered about this place before him. The unanswered questions kept Stonehenge alive in the human imagination. As Stonehenge under a late-night sky, with the moon casting its serene light over the ancient stones, John knew that his journey through time was drawing to a close. Yet, in many ways, the story of Stonehenge was far from over. The monument was not just a relic of the past. It was a living symbol, a place that continued to draw people from all walks of life, each seeking their own connection to the mysteries it held. Through the ages we come, from near and far, guided by the light of a distant star, to the circle of stones where the ancients tread, seeking answers to questions left unsaid. The path we walk is old and new. With hopes and dreams we journey through, to stand where history and myth entwine, in search of something greater, something divine. John had witnessed the diverse crowds that gathered at Stonehenge, especially during the solstices when the monument was illuminated by the dawn. Among them were tourists eager to see a famous landmark, scholars interested in its archaeology and history, and spiritual seekers searching for peace and connection. John reflected on why so many were drawn to this ancient place. For many, it was the awe of standing in a spot that had witnessed thousands of years of history, outlasting empires and civilizations. To walk among the stones was to touch something timeless, feeling the continuity of human experience. For others, Stonehenge held a deeper significance. John remembered a woman who traveled halfway across the world to find solace at the summer solstice after losing a loved one. The stones had become a sanctuary, a place of healing and clarity, connecting her to something eternal. Some visitors, like a young archaeology student John met, saw Stonehenge as a puzzle to be solved, driven by a passion for discovery. And then there were the spiritual pilgrims, modern-day druids and pagans who viewed Stonehenge as a sacred site, performing rituals that echoed ancient ceremonies. For them, it was a living temple, connecting them to the earth, sky, and ancestors. John marveled at the diversity of motivations that brought people to Stonehenge. Despite their different reasons, all shared a desire to connect with something timeless. He realized that Stonehenge was a living monument, inspiring, challenging, and comforting those who came to it. The stones reflected the hopes and fears of all who gazed upon them, making Stonehenge not just a relic of the past, but a witness to the endless pilgrimage of humanity. As the night lengthened and the moon has skied up, John found himself standing alone among the ancient stones. The air was still, and a sense of profound peace settled over the landscape. The stones, bathed in the soft glow of twilight, seemed to radiate a quiet strength, a silent testament to the passage of time. John took a deep breath, letting the cool evening air fill his lungs. He had spent the day walking in the footsteps of those who had come before him, builders, worshippers, pilgrims, and scholars, each leaving their mark on this sacred site. And yet, despite the countless stories that Stonehenge had witnessed, it remained unchanged, steadfast in its silent vigil over the ages. In the circle of stone, where time stands still, the past and future meet at will. The stones bear witness, day and night, to the endless dance of dark and light. They watch as empires rise and fall, as seasons turn and ages call. Silent they stand through joy and strife, guardians of the wheel of life. As John recited the poem in his mind, he marveled at the enduring nature of Stonehenge. For thousands of years, it had stood as a symbol of humanity's quest for meaning, where the mysteries of the universe and the human spirit intertwined. The stones were more than relics of the past. They were timeless witnesses, guardians of knowledge and dreams. John imagined future generations coming to Stonehenge just as he had, seeking answers to life's great questions. Would they see the same beauty, the same mystery, or discover new meanings that had eluded others? Stonehenge's power lay not just in its stones, but in the stories and emotions it evoked. As long as people came to marvel and ponder its significance, Stonehenge would remain relevant. As thousands of stars appeared in the twilight sky, John felt a sense of closure. He realized that Stonehenge would continue to be a place where the past and future met, where the quest for understanding endured. With one last look, he turned to leave, knowing the journey would continue in the hearts and minds of those who followed. Stonehenge would stand, a living monument, a beacon for those seeking to understand the universe and their place within it, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit. As our journey through Stonehenge with John has ended, through the eyes of John, we have glimpsed the ancient wisdom etched into these stones, the celestial alignments that guided generations, and the enduring legacy of those who once walked this sacred ground. But the story of Stonehenge is far from over. It remains a living monument, inviting each of us to explore, to wonder, and to find our own place in its unfolding narrative. As you step away from this tale, carry with you the knowledge that these stones will continue to stand as witnesses to time, holding within them the secrets of both the earth and the sky. Thank you for joining us on this journey through history, where the past meets the present and the eternal questions remain. My name is Joe. Until next time, may the mysteries of Stonehenge inspire your own path of discovery. Good night.